We're at part 8 of the Portal 2 commentary. We're still in Aperture Science Innovators. That's what I'm assuming that they were called in the beginning.
Yeah, I like how the sign on the loading screen changes to match the era of Aperture that you're exploring. Especially when we get to the last section of the game.
Question: why does Aperture have sections of its part of its building that are still from the 50s, even later?
They sealed off.
If you think about it, yeah.
What essentially happened is that they built all their stuff in the beginning at the bottom of the salt mine, and just built on top of it whenever they needed new stuff.
Yeah.
So they just moved upwards over and over again.
Yep.
Yes.
Yes. They built buildings on top of their buildings, like that spoof video I sent the. Did I send that to you, Ted?
I don't think so, but
well, it's an IGN video. It's easy enough to find. It's called like a Aperture Triumph of Science or something like that.
Yeah. Basically, whenever they needed new buildings, they poured concrete over the old stuff and then just built over
I think
it.
I remember seeing that, but I haven't watched it.
Yeah. That's why when we return to New Aperture, we're going directly straight up through a ceiling chamber.
I remember this one. I remember this puzzle took me a little while.
Yeah, it took me a bit too.
Yeah, just to figure out where to put the gel at anyway. That's about it.
Yeah, I really do like the gel.
I like the gels, but
only because it opens up a lot of possibilities for how you can solve puzzles. But at the same time, these puzzles suffer from the same kind of syndrome that all the puzzles have, in that for the most part, you can only put portals where you're supposed to put portals, which makes the solution a little too obvious. And at the same time, a few of the puzzles lean in the opposite direction.
Like here.
Not so much here.
Not here. But like when we get to the white gel sections and stuff, there are a few too many portal walls to the point where it's a little difficult to figure out where you're supposed to put portals to progress. So, damned if you do, damned if you don't. But,
I almost prefer more portable walls because it requires you to think about what you're doing rather than... This is a little too obvious.
I would agree.
Yeah, I prefer that too. And it's less of a problem in the co-op sections. Another point in which Yahtzee and I seem to agree on is that the co-op puzzles are a lot more interesting.
We'll be getting to that eventually.
Yeah. We're doing a co-op playthrough.
High fives through the internet, Lewis.
Yes. Yeah, so the way we're doing this is Johnny, I believe, played the single player mode.
You believe? I'm pretty sure it was me.
Yeah, it was Johnny playing this, and then me and Lewis are playing the co-op.
Since Johnny played the single player mode, the other two of us main BSC dudes played the co-op mode.
You get an achievement if you catch the box.
Yeah.
You know how many tries this took me? Fucking 50. I counted.
I'm no good freeloader, so I didn't help at all.
Got on my first try, Lewis.
53. Fucking. Well, you have to catch it before it hits the ground.
And you have no idea which way it's going to come out at first.
Oh, it bounces off in a completely random direction. Fuck you, Havoc Physics.
Well, it is a lively element.
We
don't know what it is yet, but it doesn't like Lewis very much.
That's something people say. That's something people say is cool about these physics engines, is that you never know which way an object is going to bounce. This is like the one time in gaming history where that has actually factored into the gameplay to some extent, and has completely come back to bite the player in the ass.
No, I don't like physics engines where you have no idea where it's going to bounce.
Well,
physics works the same way every time. You should know what's going to happen.
It's mostly an effect to make it more interesting when the same wall blows up after every playthrough, So you're not seeing the same explosion every time, right? Ooh! I'm sorry, but that's just boring to me. I don't care.
I guess
all that programming is wasted.
I'd rather just have something bounce the way it's supposed to bounce and not mess up with something frustrating rather than
Ragdoll physics jiggles down the hill.
Watch as I become a human slinky.
Congratulations.
You mean like every Gmod video ever?
Or every game that has ragdoll physics.
Hi, Batman.
Is that a set of stairs I see? Oh, this is going to be hilarious.
Yeah, this is what I was talking about earlier. This, well, it's kind of aged, but you can tell that Aperture Science is a pretty classy place during this particular decade.
Goodbye, Carolyn.
She is a gem.
We're going into the second era.
Yeah.
Well, we're heading there anyway.
Do you find GLaDOS before you go into second Aperture, or am I not remembering right?
Wait, what did you say? You
find GLaDOS at the entrance to second Aperture, actually.
So we'll see her soon.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
She won't be a problem to bring around after all, because she's a potato.
Yeah, the unofficial name used both by the fandom and the commentators.
Potatoes.
It's potatoes.
Yeah, potatoes. Hey, she's never called that in the actual game, but that's what the developers call her in the commentaries. So.
Oops.
I think everyone has made that mistake. That's where the little light on the portal gun comes in handy. But even with that light, even I make that mistake every now and then because I'm just not paying attention. And you know what?
It's I just get confused because I get disoriented really easily.
Yeah.
Yeah, especially when you fly through a portal and then fly directly up out of the ground, that, even when you're not physically doing it yourself in the real world, there's a feeling of vertigo there. It's like, whoa.
Are we sure we want future games in 3D now?
Oh man. Virtual reality is going to be so fucking trippy when they remake Portal 2. Oh, I can't wait, actually.
That will be interesting to see.
Too bad we
now
probably won't.
We're in Age 2.
It's too bad we probably won't live to see that, but if Valve is still around by the time we have, true-to-life virtual reality in, 200 years or so, I want the Portal games to be remade, so that, have to do...
This is where the Aurora Borealis is. If you just go through that door, you're not going to show it, Johnny, are you?
No, I have no idea what you guys are talking about.
God damn it.
It's behind a file cabinet in the top.
Yeah, if you go through that door there we're looking at right now, to the back left through the filing cabinet, if you portal your way through there, you'll see the Aurora Borealis.
Yeah, there's a hallway that's hidden behind a file cabinet. You go into that hallway, there are 3 doors that you can press buttons on to play Cave Johnson clips, and behind those, there's another open door that leads to the dock of the Aurora Borealis, which is not there, but it's the place where it was being held at the time. You need to find that for an achievement too. Ship overboard is the achievement.
Yep.
By the way, notice the Aperture sign and how stock and generic it has become. They bought it at a
yard sale.
They're so out of budget that
they bought it at the same place where that store in the in the plaza might have bought their sign from.
Jesus.
It's potatoes.
If you just sit here and let the crow poke at GLaDOS. No, I'm gonna sit here and watch it eat you because I am vindictive like that.
This is humorously satisfying. Has it ever been established how deep Aperture runs down? I'm surprised we haven't seen the Earth's fucking core yet.
I think it's 50 miles or so. I don't know. Wait, not that
how
much.
Far,
I don't know.
How deep is the Earth's crust?
I don't know.
I'm only surprised that Aperture thought to start so far down in the beginning. It's like... Whoa, this is so tubular, dude.
I'm seeing so many colors, man.
What does it mean?
Okay, GLaDOS says something along the lines here of literally not having the voltage to scheme behind your back and betray you with because she can't think that hard right now.
Yeah, before she can go any kind of emotional tantrum, she fizzles out.
Not enough voltage.
1.1 volts. That's all she has to run on. The good news is that's what Aperture Science equipment is designed to run on. The bad news is it's not quite enough to,
handle a
power
lot of it.
How do you think a portal gun reacts with little voltage?
The testing area is just up ahead.
How the heck what does this run on? AA batteries?
No, it runs on science.
Yes, sir, Mr. Johnson. Why did I just... Who is that? What the hell is going on here?
And
like
the clues commence.
I like how they worked in that, that totally unplanned backstory there. Like, if they hadn't said they didn't plan it, I wouldn't have guessed they didn't plan it.
This room gave me some trouble the first time.
Not this room for me.
Well, pretty much you just have to cover everything with gel, and eventually you'll find the.
No, you just have to
No.
get the rampway covered in the gel.
I'm gonna go into developer commentaries again right now, but these gels were originally used in another. Well, it's funny because Portal started out in its original form. It was a game that students were making.
Yes.
The gels come from a different game, pretty much the same nature. What was it? Tag the Power of Paint, I think it was called.
I can't remember.
I'm pretty sure in the developer commentaries they said it was another student game.
Would not surprise me.
Well, I like how they worked in yet another another student game concept. I just think it fits. And it works really well with Portals. I mean, not as well as it could have.
Well,
but...
college kids are smart.
And you don't have to
And they
pay
have-
them either.
And they have so much time on their hands, they're just going to make interesting concepts regardless.
Well, I have a theory about that. College games and indie developers haven't hit that that jaded part of their game design careers where they're being strong armed by like their bosses and shit to make whatever genre of game happens to be popular with a mainstream audience at the time. So you see a lot more niche titles, as it were. Every so often you'll get something legitimately awesome, like the Portal concept out of that. But I guess the point I'm driving at is they get more originality that way. Not necessarily good originality. I'm not saying it's better. Just more interesting. Sort of like what Yahtzee was saying about iPod games a while back. Now that I think about it.
But you can get some pretty good.
There's some good iPhone games.
Well, I mean, if you're just talking about the games in general, you can go on Newgrounds every once in a while to find a good indie game.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, I'm just saying, these student games, for a similar reason to indie games, tend to show, more originality behind them. More creativity. Whereas, when a new action game comes out, it might be a really mind-blowingly great action game, but at the same time, it's just an action game. It's been done before.
We just need to relax.
Well, not well.
Are you showing off?
The Carolyn
original
picture.
concept
Yes.
doesn't always get you funding to.
Yeah.
There's a picture of Carolyn.
Hello.
They look so familiar.
Yeah, it's just a little side secret here. It takes about 3 seconds to get. You'll probably miss it on your first time through because you're halfway zoned out when you're walking between chambers.
Yeah.
But
And that's why I missed it.
that's why you missed the Aurora Borealis too.
Yeah, and I still haven't found that. And I played this game fully like 6 times by now.
Oh,
Well, now you know
can
it's there.
find it. Oh, it's not interesting. It's just an empty dry dock with
A
a
sign on there.
with a lifesaver that says Aurora Borealis in it.
It's for the Half-Life fans.
It's only interesting if you're a Half-Life fan.
I think we still make those games, right?
What are you doing?
Instead of Half-Life 3 Half-Life 3, we get Half-Life 2 Episode 2 Act 2. Because Valve can't count the 3. And every time a Half-Life every time a Valve joke is made, Half-Life 3 gets delayed another week.
How many jokes have been made so far?
Oh, about 100 years.
Definite.
About 100 years worth.
God damn it.
How many times has the cake line been echoed and echoed and echoed and driven into the ground?
And overall, just overused.
Great job, guys! We won't see Half-Life 3 for another 200 years. All because you couldn't shut up with that stupid meme. Yes, I'm talking to you. You, the guy sitting on your ass in front of the computer. Because you thought
I'm pretty sure at
so
least
clever.
13 of those were my fault.
Because
Yes, we're talking
you
about
thought
you,
it was
Jim.
so clever to work the cake as a lie into your fucking commentary on this other dude's commentary on someone's shitty AMV.
George, we're looking at you. We're pretty
Put
sure
that Snickers bar down.
We're pretty
You
sure
there,
we're
with the
pretty
Honey Nut Cheerios. Cut it out. Coffee drink? Fuck no.
We're pretty sure most of you aren't named George, but for the few people who are named George, we just said we'd freak you out.
You are putting that Coke...
You can't even finish a sentence.
Part's over, guys. Shut up.